bemoaning technology. Stupid iPhones.
It's so funny.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so what? Outside.
Frightening. To Leonardo DiCaprio, you look like two different people.
I was obsessed with him in the film. I wanted to be his friend. Sell.
I was like, well,
that would have to take so many men. Not this man. This is lovely, mate. It told me to my marrow. It gave me like goosebumps in the back of my neck in a really horrible way, and I was like,
in the beginning of the movie.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Which I think is
We just see a big room. Sophie Ellis Bextor murder on the dance floor starts, and then. Hi there, and welcome to our Saltburn review. Hope, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thanks. What a time to be alive. Okay, Hope, what are your initial notes?
No, you go first.
Okay, well...
I seen it first, Mike's seen it second.
Yep, and if you watched our Christmas films review, which you better have,
that's fun.
Then you will see that my sister really enjoyed it, and she recommended it to me, and it was even better than I thought it was going to be. Sorry, I didn't have a big delay there.
That's funny. It was even. Which I was worried that I had oversold it to Mikey and Ava because I'd gushed about it that much, so I was scared in case they were going to go in and see it and be like, oh yeah, it was good, but nothing compared to how I had like sold it.
Oh my god, I cannot big up this film enough. I cannot advocate for it enough. I thought it was absolutely incredible. I think Emerald Fennell's a genius. I think she is a gift to society, and yeah, just absolutely incredible. So shall we dive in?
Yeah, you go, honestly.
Just to let you know, there will be spoilers in this video. So the film starts out initially with Barry Keoghan's character Oliver going to Oxford University. He's a bit of a social pariah, and then he happens to meet Jacob Elordi. Oliver is totally captivated by Felix, played by Jacob Elordi, and the plot unwinds from there. What was your thoughts about the start of the film? And also, did you guess where it was going to go? I didn't, just for the record.
No, not at all. And I think that's something that I really liked about the plot, because not a clue, not like, oh, maybe nothing.
Zero.
Nothing. It unravelled so naturally.
Yeah.
Like in the direction of where it was going, but I was like still so unexpecting of it.
The big twist, or one of the twists, I didn't see coming, and I think that is very rare now in cinema.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
Generally 9 times out of 10, probably even higher, you think, alright, yeah, okay, so this is what's going to happen. It'll be a 3/4 dip and then we'll all be fine.
Yeah, I think either like, I think there's like one of 3 kinds of twists. There's the one that it's like, oh, you know, you called it in the ad before you even went to see it, kind of thing. Or you don't see it because you don't see the movie because you can see it in the ad what the twist is going to be. There's that kind of twist. There's the kind of twist where it's like, oh, it's so out of left field that you didn't see it coming, because then it undermines everything that's happened beforehand, which I don't like those. I personally think those are lazy writing. I hate
that, and sometimes you can tell they've just been done for critical reputability as well. It's like, oh, it didn't end happily, so there. Yeah. Give me a good write-up now. It
feels like very like that for me. It's done for a critic audience and not like a paying audience. And then there's the other twist, which I think they have in this movie, where I didn't see it coming at all, but the characters were true to the twist.
And it makes total sense.
It makes complete sense, and it was just perfect, and I loved it so much. So,
just bemoaning technology. Stupid iPhones.
It's so funny.
There's going to be spoilers in this, you know, if you don't want that, go away. So,
you know, honestly, like, watch the movie before you watch this, or if you can watch a film and no spoilers, but I usually can, like, I don't mind movies in general being spoiled.
I don't want to know spoilers.
It depends, but for the most part I'm totally okay with it. In this instance, I would have been pissed if I had known, because I would have been like collecting all the breadcrumbs throughout, which I wasn't, and I'm glad I didn't. Yeah,
you can only kind of put it to sense looking back.
Yeah, so yeah, honestly, if you're interested in watching the movie, turn this off and go and watch the movie before, oh my god, I'm doing a Denise Richards. Go and watch.
I don't watch The Real Housewives anymore because I just don't like the cast anymore. But Ava made me watch that.
That was unhinged.
The jacket went upside down.
I know.
Don't. I know what you're doing. What?
I know. And then the chef's
Denise Richards is wasted.
That's what
but see, where she's like, you know. Look, could you just tell me though? You know though. I'm sorry if I did, but what did I do? You know what you did.
Just to be clear, because people have said it, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, honestly, what the fuck?
I honestly think we should dialogue with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills more often, but it's so funny. Can I just say one thing, right? This is such a digression, but the producers are so funny on that show, because Sutton is talking about, if you're not familiar with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills...
Let's just assume that they are.
Yeah. Sutton's got a store, and she's like, oh, I mean, I'm just so proud that it's been successful for 4 years. My success, my hard work, my success. And then the producer goes, did any of your... She gets spousal support the store, and she's like, yeah.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Sorry, back to Saltburn.
I know, may cut that out. I thought that this was like a completely original story.
Oh yeah.
Like I can't reference it to. I know that some people have said, and it does make sense, like the Talented Mr. Ripley reference.
There's a strong flavour of that. Yeah, it's different though.
But it is so different still.
Tom Ripley was poor.
Yeah, and even so, like, even the way the story comes out, when I was watching Saltburn, I didn't go, oh, Talented Mr. Ripley. Like, I think it's such a more of an original story to that, and there's much more of a, like, there's a commentary on, like, class, which I don't think that Talented Mr. Ripley, I don't think it did in the same way. I feel like the Talented Mr. Ripley was about Matt Damon's character and his performance, and then everything about it was like the 20% around it, where we were so immersed in the whole world of Saltburn and the other characters. I do see what people are saying, but I just don't think, like, I don't think one came from the other. It's so
no, I don't think so. I think there's just, and I think they are like totally independent films. I just think the theme of
kind of catfishing in a life.
Yeah, kind of cuckoo in the nest imposter who likes shiny things and kind of wants to be them in a kind of malevolent way.
Yeah, I mean, definitely that part. Emerald Fennell done an interview, and I can't remember who it was for, but if anyone cares, I can find it and Mike will link it, where she referenced like 5 different movies, and I was like looking at those movies, I was like, oh, I can see how that being your point of reference, you could create this. Not that there was just like certain elements, but for me it felt like a completely original story, which I really like, because I think like how often do we actually see original stories nowadays?
Oh, I agree. I think I seen her doing an interview and somebody rained off like 5, but again I was like, oh yeah, like
you can see how like those have been like inspiration for this.
These all make sense.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I definitely think it was a completely original script, and it looked incredible.
So good.
Like
so
it just is like cinematic perfection. It is like totally like it's so beautiful. It's so reminiscent of that time. See the tunes and stuff like that, and like the Livestrong bands, like all the fashion, the aesthetic of it is so bang on for any day that was alive in 2006 and 2007. It's set in the summer of 2007.
Yeah, so it starts out 2006 because you see a banner at Oxford. It's like 2006, but it predominantly takes place in the summer of 2007.
Yeah, and like the music and the fashion and stuff are just so on point for that time.
And also she said, and I didn't clock this, like I didn't know that was the time period, but apparently 2007 was the last year that you could smoke publicly inside. Sorry, you could smoke indoors.
Oh no, yeah, that's right. Yeah, they all smoke like chimneys.
Yeah.
Brief overlay of the plot right now, and there are going to be a fuck ton of spoilers here, so you know, get ready. Initially, Felix starts to kind of pull away from Oliver. Oliver then confides in him that he's actually very impoverished. His parents both have issues with addiction, and his dad has just died. So Felix obviously really feels for Oliver, and he invites him to come and stay at Saltburn, his family's manor estate, for the summer.
Yeah.
Initially, things go absolutely wonderfully, and they get on, and everybody likes each other, apart from Felix's cousin Farley, who is kind of financially dependent on Felix's family, and he resents Barry Keoghan's character Ollie being there. He thinks there's not enough room for both of us, and he frequently belittles Oliver and, you know, points out that like nobody really likes him, that he's unpopular, and that he's poor.
Yeah, the sleeves are too long. Always check the sleeves.
Oliver is obsessed with Felix. Sexual encounters among several of the characters.
Everyone.
Yeah.
But I think the thing is, like, that those aren't even like the most important parts. I think that
I agree.
Those are just how Oliver manipulates people.
Yeah,
and you don't realise at the time it's how he's manipulating them.
It's indications to his character.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. He says that he doesn't love Felix, but it's like, but I can see from your actions that you do. And I think that's one of those things where Emerald Fennell, in writing it, was given a nod to this is an unreliable narrator that we are seeing as the protagonist, but you don't realise quite to what extent that he is actually the reliable narrator that you are following, and she had said like he's also seems like the underdog from the beginning, so we naturally root for underdogs, so you're so on his side, and even when he is like openly lying to you, that you can see, because he is just so infatuated with Felix,
and you kind of almost feel for him a wee bit, like, oh, that's a shame he's obsessed,
but you do feel for him, because it's like,
but you shouldn't.
Yeah, no, totally. And also the way that Felix is, it's like Felix is just living his life, and now Oliver's in his orbit and he loves him so much, and it almost seems cruel, because it's like Felix is bringing him in just so close but not as close as Oliver wants, and it's very clear what Oliver wants. So it's like, you know, either really be his friend or don't, as if again Oliver is the underdog, but he's not at all. Oliver has fully opted into this situation, all knowing, you just don't know that yet.
Somewhat of a puppet master. No, initially, so we think that, you know, Oliver does come from a
really
disadvantaged background, and he's just worked his way up, and that's part of the reason he's ostracised in Oxford, because he doesn't have any money. However, it transpires that Oliver is actually quite well off, not nearly as well off as Jacob Elordi's family or Felix's family.
Yeah, but who is?
Yeah, you know, but he's like a wealthy middle class person, and Felix takes him home for his birthday. Oliver protests heavily, and it then transpires that Oliver's mum doesn't have any addiction issues, and that his father is not dead.
He's alive and well and in the living room.
Yep, and it is super, super awkward. At that point, Felix's family have already planned a birthday party for Ollie, so Felix says, come back and do the party, then you need to leave, because obviously you're a liar and this is weird. And then more things unfold from there.
Yeah.
So I didn't see that coming, I have to say that. Ava said she did.
Really?
Yeah, but I didn't, and well, did you?
No, not at all, like not at all, because to that point, Oliver is so in their world.
And you really feel for him. He's this lowly urchin who, it's a shame, because he's intellectual, he's kind, he's unassuming, he's very unsure of himself, just wants to please, and they are being nice, but they're kind of toying with him. He's a passing entertainment. You can really tell that for Felix and his family. Sorry, go on.
No, that's the thing, like 100% that, like you so feel for him, because he's been ostracised at Oxford because he is the disenfranchised student. It seems like he's there on scholarship. And from the outset, like when he goes to Oxford and he seems to do like an intro interview with like one of the lecturers, and the guy is almost like, the lecturer's
almost belittling him straight away for doing what he should have done and like reading the reading list. Yeah,
exactly. So you're immediately on his side, and then that's when he first meets Farley, and then
Farley's dick.
Farley is a prick, and then but the lecturer is just so wanting to be Farley's best friend because he knows what family he's a part of, and he's like, oh, I actually like have a tenuous relationship to your aunt. So from the beginning, every way you're on Oliver's side, and then like once he gets to Saltburn, when he's first there and they're talking about what he looks like, and Felix is like, oh mum, I told you he's not a minger, and she's like, yes, but you're always kind, and she's talking about
they're talking about him when he's out of the room, saying that he's like poor and ugly and stuff, and he can hear them.
He's literally right through the door, and there's just so many situations of that, or like when they're at breakfast and it's like, oh, order what you want, and then so he says what he wants, and then they're like, oh,
he doesn't
it's
know,
right there,
he doesn't know the form, and they like make him feel stupid for not knowing the form of their day-to-day like astronomically wealthy aristocratic lives. So like you say, you're
so on his side, because they keep othering him, even though he's been like willfully invited into their home, and they still keep othering him.
And he's the kind of everyman, but he's like, he has good intentions and he's intelligent, and you really feel for him. But as the movie goes on, that starts to change. Start to realise he's somewhat more of a sinister character than we initially thought.
Yeah, but I truly didn't see it coming.
No, well, first of all, I really didn't see the thing about the parents. When Felix is driving him home, they start to drive by some nice houses, and there is a sign that matches where Oliver said he lived. Then I was like, okay. So then I got it, but I still didn't understand what his plan was after that. No,
because at that point when I realised that they were only going in the direction of his house, I thought he was just going to be deeply embarrassed, because he had explained that both of his parents are addicts, and that
really
his dad has passed,
and disgusting flat and stuff like that.
And so it was going to be like this like shameful, embarrassing experience, because he was so ashamed of like the life that he's survived and got out of. I really thought that's what was coming, and I mean, I'm glad it wasn't that, because the movie's so much more interesting for it. But also, at this point as well, I so thought then that like the family of Saltburn were going to be the villains, because my thought to that point, when they were driving up and I was still believing the story that Oliver had told. I thought it was going to be a case of like, they're going to go and he's got this like horrible impoverished life and Felix is like fetishising it.
It's awful, really. Was it awful?
That, as they had hinted at earlier in the movie, that Felix always has a new human plaything every summer.
Yep.
And so I thought it was going to be like, oh, Felix is going to dine out in like his impoverished, disenfranchised, like sad little reality, and then be like, oh, that was fun for me. I'm going to...
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm going to go back home and this will just be like, again, a funny story that I want to tell to people in later times. I didn't think it was going to be like, they pull up and...
Yeah, it's like perfect Middle England, like
yeah,
super
it's so
wonderful,
nice.
Yeah. So I agree. I thought that's what it was going to be. Immediately subsequent to that, I was like, right, what's Oliver going to do? Because he wants to cling on now and he is now being rebuffed. Are we saying what happens next?
I think you should say everything.
I think we may as well.
The movie is shot in like a square aspect ratio. It's like 1:33, I believe. And with that, what's so good about it that works for the movie is it's very intimate. It's really great with close-ups. That's what Emerald Fennell said is like that's the best ratio for close-ups. And when you, for that particular movie and what their story that they were telling, that's very important. And you see that in it. Like there's so many close-ups of Oliver just like unbelievably in love with Felix and things like that. But I think that particular aspect ratio is so good because it's like so intimate and you're so there and you're so close to the characters. But then when Oliver first gets to Saltburn, you get a wide shot and he's this tiny little human in the grand doors of Saltburn. Or then once he like crosses the threshold, once again the point of view is like where what we're seeing from is like in the top like right hand corner overlooking this grand hall, and there's a chandelier with underwear hanging off of it. And so it's like the thought of every level of it, of being like, oh, this is like this unbelievably gigantic place, but they clearly like party.
Yeah, it's like opulent, but it's like messy.
Yeah.
I also heard her say that she wanted to get like the floor and the ceiling in because it's so grandiose and it's so big, and with like a wide angle shot you would have to like cut off one when you were showing the other, but with the square you can see both and you can really see the scale of the house, which I thought was important. I liked that a lot. Yeah,
I think as well, not only is the actual like narrative story making you think that this family are all powerful and Felix is minuscule, and the way that it's
Oliver is minuscule.
What did I say? Felix? Sorry, that Oliver is minuscule. Not only in what they're saying and acting out, but also in the cinematography, it's very much giving that as well. When Oliver first arrives to Saltburn, it's in the trailer, Felix gives him a tour of the place.
Dead really.
It's so funny.
Dead rallies, and Daddy's old Teddy.
But what also, like, it's one of those things I don't think I would have picked up on it unless I noticed that Emerald Fennell had said it, but she had said, like, you're getting it from Oliver's point of view, and as much as he's walking through this unbelievably gorgeous home, he's looking at Felix. Everything else he sees is peripheral vision of that house. He is focused on Felix. He is so besotted with them all the time. And then what I really love as well with that, and Emerald Fennell is exceptional at this, I feel, or in the cinematographer that she uses, which is, I thought it was pronounced Linus, but I believe it's Linus Sandgren. He's Swedish, and he's worked with like Damien Chazelle, David O. Russell, Gus Van Sant. Like he's, you know, very impressive resume. Felix is shot like a god at one point. Like he's sitting on a chest of drawers, and he's backlit. That's also in the trailer, and it's like he's shot like this godlike figure. So again, ethereal. 100%. He's this deity in Oliver's life. So I think that like everything about it that is not only told to you but you're seeing visually is a layered story that is making you buy in all the more to Oliver's side of the story. And then just one other last visual thing that I think is really important is that kind of tells the story of Saltburn and the family. Is at one point Oliver's really annoyed and he's got a bathroom mirror and he punches it.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Oh, because the point is that the house staff cleaned it up because we'll clean up after you and we won't talk about it.
Yeah, so I didn't get that. Oliver punches his mirror and it breaks, but then he checks it in the morning and like it's fine, and I was like, so was he imagining that?
Yeah,
or
no. The point is that, like...
They'll just tidy up after you.
They'll tidy up after you and we don't talk about the bad things that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the strengths of being British. We just shove our emotions right down
All
into
the
a
way
little
down.
hole.
Especially at that class level, we don't say the naughty things that shouldn't be said.
It's not
Debauchery
becoming.
happens behind closed doors. It doesn't happen out in the open.
It's not becoming.
Yes.
Right, let's discuss some individual performances. Let's start at the very top. Barry Keoghan as Oliver. What are your thoughts, Hope?
I mean, I think as a general thing with everyone, I just completely believe them, and even though I've seen like multiple people in it in different roles, I was just so 100% in belief that they were who they were playing right now.
9%. There was nobody that I thought was weak.
Not
one.
at all. And then it's even more impressive with Oliver, or with Barry Keoghan as Oliver, because Oliver's 3 different people in the movie, at least. And every version of it, I'm in deep belief of who he is. And it's funny, I was talking to Ava about the movie, and it made me think of, if you've seen The Departed and Mark Wahlberg saying to Leonardo DiCaprio, you look like 2 different people. And Barry Keoghan manages to do this, which is unbelievably wild, because as I'd earlier mentioned, the shots are so tight in his face. And yeah, sometimes he's got, like, he's reading glasses on and sometimes he's not, but there's no like, he doesn't have this massive like stylistic change.
No.
But his face looks different when he is being someone different, and not from like any ridiculous contortions, but just these like micro expressions.
He's just demeanour is totally embodying something different. He's meek and sad. He's desperate, and he's threatening and like sexy.
Yeah, he's all of the above.
It's like dangerous. You're like, and then like, I mean, right at the very end of the film, he's terrifying.
And then he's Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, it's just.
He's everything. And he's exquisitely everything.
Oh, he's so good. It's incredible. I'm so good. I had one note. No, I think this is a 10 out of 10 performance, and I think this is such a gold standard performance that I would only give it a 10.
Yeah, it's an Oscar. If he doesn't get an Oscar, stolen from him. Stolen. That is not right.
I agree. I have one note, and I, you know, no criticism. It's just something I noticed is that Oliver is meant to be a Scouser, and I don't know if you've heard any Scousers, but they don't sound like that. That was my only gripe, is that he still sounded quite Irish to me. But like, it's not a criticism, because the performance was like Oscar worthy, as my sister said. I just noticed that he was still from Ireland, and he wasn't meant to be.
I didn't think he sounded Irish throughout. I really didn't. I just thought he was more from like a part of England that I didn't recognise the accent. Do you know what I mean? Because like, obviously, I mean, we're Scottish, so we know every English accent, obviously. But in that way of like, you really know some, and then sometimes they'll be like, when people become like famous, then they get like non-regional accents.
Yeah, Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah, or
Jamie Bell.
Yeah, and also that comedian boy, and then the Little Mix girl was like, no, I'm from there.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know his name.
Chris Ramsey, yeah.
Okay,
So yeah, there's posh versions of every area, because I have heard people like on TV who say they're Scousers, and I'm like,
are you?
Yeah, and also there's a lot of people in Glasgow that sound English.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But they're from Glasgow, like all the kids in this street.
I know, yeah, 100%.
They all sound English, they're just posh. So like,
yeah, so I just thought it was like that kind of thing. It was like maybe like a class level of that accent I wasn't familiar with. I didn't.
And it's a bit more non-regional because he's a bit more well off and doesn't speak.
So
like
that was more like my thought of it. I was
might be.
Yeah.
Well, I just feel there's been so much attention to detail with every other part of the film. That I don't think they would have let that slip. But then so I rescind that, sorry.
Yeah, because I think that's more the point also, is the Saltburn family, that's obviously the house name is Saltburn. I don't know what their surname is.
It's something.
Felix.
Macot or something like that.
I have no idea what their surname is, but like Felix's family, they are so wealthy. How would they possibly know what a working class accent was from some place versus like the middle class accent from some place in England? Like, I just don't think they would mix to actually get that point.
Darling, where's Liverpool? North.
Catton.
Okay, I didn't know that. Did they say it in the movie?
Don't know.
I mean, maybe.
Probably do.
Yeah. But yeah, I more thought it was that. I really didn't clock he's Irish. And I think for me, I really thought he'd done a good job of
the accent.
Yeah, because he's very Irish.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Can that way? Because I mean, I appreciate he's actually been working for years, but he's still in that part of his career, at least, or he seems to be, where he's not doing the like, I'm getting annoyed that I have to repeat myself, and so I'll make my accent a bit
more non-regional.
The way that like that time that Rihanna was on Graham Norton, and he was like, I understand you perfectly. She's like, yeah, because I've done this so much now that I lose.
Yeah, I've seen her drop back into her Bayesian accent, and it's very thick. Yeah.
But it'll be like when we talk to each other versus when we talk to anyone else.
Oh yeah. We have been talking to each other quite a lot, and it's interested to see if you can all understand it. So
I know.
It's difficult.
I know. I am quite aware. So I'm just like, I feel like Mr. Will from Pulp Fiction, like I think fast, I talk fast, I act fast. I didn't think fast in that moment there though. But I always think that, like, gosh, I'm speaking at this speed and I can understand me. Can anyone else?
Yeah.
Probably not.
No. We shall move on next to Jacob Elordi's character, Felix. So what did you think?
I mean, yeah, I just thought he was perfection in that role, and again, so surprising because, like I'd mentioned, we've only seen him play Nate, and then that very small role in that Ben Affleck movie that I'm not familiar with the name of it.
Also Elvis as well, he's now playing.
I've not seen it yet.
No, neither have I, I've just seen a trailer.
But he's so believable as Felix, and Felix could not be more of a different character from Nate.
Yeah, Nate's very unlikable.
Yeah.
And Felix is extremely likable, extremely
100%.
charismatic. Do you know that tall guy you went to school or uni with, and just like every girl fancied him, every boy wanted to be his mate, he was good at everything and he was always in a good mood because everything went his way.
Yeah.
He's that guy.
He is that guy.
He's that guy.
He's fully that guy.
And you believe him and you like him. I was obsessed with him in the film. I wanted to be his friend. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he really draws you in. It's like, oh my god, he's just like, the sun shines on you when he looks at you. He gives that vibe and he plays it to perfection.
He does.
Which is such a different role from Nate Jacobs. Nate Jacobs is chronically unlikable.
Oh, he's awful.
Even though you understand what has messed him up, you still hate him.
Oh yeah, because he's still bloody
He's a
awful.
horrible character, and even once you know, you kind of feel bad for him. He goes and threatens the man with a gun.
Yeah, so like, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I can understand you're a product of your environment, but you're still making choices that are leaning heavy in the direction of evil.
He explains it, it doesn't excuse it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. However, I mean, there's going to be a bit of a theme, by the way, here when we break down everybody's performance.
Yeah, they're 10 out of 10.
Yeah, because
everyone.
Every single one was so strong. Even people like Richard D. Grant, who didn't have a great deal of screen
No,
time.
but it was still perfect.
And I know that he plays characters like that, semi on the reg. But like, it was so good. But yeah, Felix, absolutely incredible. But his English accent was very good as well. And I know Australian to English isn't a huge jump, but
Yeah,
it's still very good.
No, he was just perfect, and I thought he was great at the accent. I thought he was really good at the accent. Maybe not as good as your impersonation of him.
Thanks.
But
I have been working on it all week.
yeah, Mike's an incredible mimic, like alarmingly incredible mimic.
Thanks.
He sends me voice notes of things sometimes. They're so spot on, it's hilarious.
Ava's better. She's robbed me. Like, I'll do it, and then she'll do it. I'm like, fuck off. You know what I mean?
She doesn't do them to me.
Yeah, oh, she does. I was like, well, I used to think I was good at this.
Yeah.
Do you know when like a football player plays against Messi and then you're like, oh, I'm not that good. That's like me to Ava impressions.
That's funny. You should have like an impressions of.
Yeah, that should be good.
But you're really good at them.
Thank you. Yeah, Felix, 10 out of 10.
100%.
Well, we move on next to Farley, who is played by Archie Madekwe.
You go first this time because I went first on Felix.
So I obviously knew Archie from C. He played Keoghan in C. He played Jason Momoa's son. And well, I mean, he acted it well. I didn't like the character. I thought it was really inept and hesitant and indecisive and kept getting himself into trouble, as did his sister. For the other reasons though, she was too decisive.
Yeah, 100%.
Haniwa, good names as well. Keoghan and Haniwa.
Oh, perfection. That, if you haven't seen C, it's on Apple TV.
Watch it.
And it's one of those.
So good.
It's perfection. It's so incredible. It's one of the best things I've ever seen. It's wonderful.
And also something that hasn't been done.
Yeah, it's so original.
Yep.
It's so original and it looks spectacular. I don't know who the cinematographer was on that, but it's someone that's impeccable at their job.
Do you remember that that's how Apple TV launched its streaming service, that it was with C? And I was like, ugh, I'm not getting on our subscription service. And I was like, oh my, sell.
I was like, well,
this
I
is
was
so
wrong.
good.
And it's incredible. It's so incredible. What an amazing show, But I had the exact same thought as you. Keoghan is this meek little bitch, and he's so annoying. And at least
in a dystopian world where it really doesn't forgive behaviour like that.
You can't be like stop it. And where Haniwa is like getting herself into trouble because she's trying to like bolster powerfully.
Hyper aggressive and just doesn't think about anything before she does it. And then Jason Momoa has to go and rescue them both constantly, which he does very well. Yeah.
I mean, the first time.
Oh, the slavers?
Yeah, the first time, so spoilers, the first time Baba Voss, who Jason Momoa plays, has to unleash who he once was.
Yeah, because you're not quite sure. He's just a nice, homely dad, and he hints that he had a dark past. But then Keoghan gets captured by these slavers, and he has to go and unleash the dark past.
And oh my god, my god, the way that's choreographed.
I actually sat like...
Yeah, I can't get closer to the TV because I have watched that multiple times.
Same, I've watched just for that scene multiple times.
That scene, and do you know the other one that I really love, see when the guy jumps off of the...
Oh, same.
Yeah, but that's way into it, and you need to see it, you need to know about it and the way that it's done.
That would have to take so many men, not this man. He was my favourite character.
He was incredible. His character arc was wonderful.
Amazing, loved it, didn't expect it.
Watch C,
please watch C.
It's incredible.
Archie Madeko, who plays Farley, is really, really excellent because there's a lot going on there as well. He's an insider who's an outsider. His mum, who I'm assuming is Richard E. Grant's sister, went and married an American. He's obviously mixed race, and his mum is now financially dependent on Felix's dad, who is played by Richard E. Grant. So Archie has his schooling paid for, has his tuition paid for, and he also kind of lives at Saltburn, we're led to believe. Yeah,
well, between like the school that is paid for by them, and then spends the rest of his time at Saltburn. So he's fully living off of their family
They're
pocket.
good graces, and he also has to regularly petition them for more money for his mum in America, who is now dependent on them. So he is an insider who is also an outsider, and he thinks, I heard him speaking about this, and he says immediately he sees Oliver and is like, there's not enough room for both of us in this situation. So he immediately ostracises Oliver, belittles him, makes him, highlights the fact that he is poor and dependent on the Cattons as much as he can, gets him to sing that, is it the Pet Shop Boys or Chemical Brothers song, You Pay My Rent?
But and it's so painful.
It's really,
so
really
painful.
Unkind. So,
but I like how Oliver handles. So basically, they're doing karaoke, and Farley picks this horrible song and says it's Oliver's turn, and Oliver has to basically sing how you pay my rent, I'm impoverished. But then Oliver switches it around and goes, you wanted to sing the song, and flings it back.
Yeah, but it says Farley, this is your song too. But I also like that Farley's like, yay, and just pure leans into it.
Yeah, he does.
If you insist. You took me to a restaurant to show me.
He's not ashamed.
No,
but he is resentful.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, as you would be.
Farley does the best way to come out of that situation, kind of thing.
Yeah, he just owns it. But Farley is also a nuanced character. You feel sorry for him because he's an insider who's also an outsider, and he's constantly made aware that he's an outsider because he is financially dependent on the family. But he's also cool and ethereal, a bit like Felix. He's kind of very
so aloof,
aloof and bourgeois, and he's also very, very suave in his own aristocratic, really tall way. So he is very cool as well, so it's there is a huge disparity between him and Keoghan is not cool, and they are this really cool family, but at the same time you do feel sorry for him, you do empathise with him, but you also hate him. So, because he is a bully at the end of the day. Yeah,
very much so. And also, just his performance, Archie's performance as Farley is just so good because, he's smoking all the time throughout of it, and apparently doesn't smoke in real life, and he said that was something that he really had to learn because there's nothing more obvious than when a non-smoker is smoking in a part, and he does it so flawlessly, but he also does it with the accent of disdain, because and there's so many scenes where you can't help but watch him having disdain for Oliver, and he does it perfectly because it's not overdone, it's not overplayed, he's not doing these big emotive looks of I hate you. It's just a roll of the eyes, it's a tuck of the chin. It's so subtle, but it's perfection. It's true perfection.
It's weird that they're meant to be these really stiff characters, but maybe because they do compress the emotion, there's just so much there waiting to tear out if you just pull the curtain back. And I thought they expressed that, which is very difficult to convey through performance, even with the scenes and stuff that air of threat of suppressed emotion. I really don't know how you even write that in a script, never mind articulate it in a performance with a micro expression, but it is done maybe better than any film I've seen. Do
you know, to be fair, that's true. I feel like it's to throw in another reference, but in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, when the surf instructor is do less, do less. You have to do more than that.
That's so funny.
It's like that because it's exactly as you're saying. It's they're playing an iceberg. It's you have so much under the surface, but you can only just let it see it. But you have to let it see it. But they do that exceptionally well.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. I loved it. Well, we move on to Venisha.
Yeah.
Played by Alison Oliver. Am I right?
I don't know, but I think she's Irish in real life.
Oh, really? Is she?
Maybe, yeah.
Anyway, to Venisha, played by Alison Oliver. Venisha is Felix's sister.
I just love the name Venisha. I've never heard that before.
I love it. So opulent. I absolutely love it. I would call my child that.
Venisha, yeah, it's a great name.
Instantly accepted into those circles. I thought she'd done a good role. So Venisha is, we are led to believe, somewhat troubled straight away. Similar age to Ollie and Barry Keoghan. I don't believe they actually refer to it. I think she's Felix's younger sister. But I mean, she's
true, yeah, I don't know if they do.
or older actually, I don't know. Oliver pretty quickly gets her tied up in his web and rejects her. So, and again, it's like a kind of weird power thing with him, and that's when you start to see again, you see him really changing from one character to the next, and you really believe it.
Yeah, because even the family make reference to it. Oh, Venisha's been like prancing around the garden, just waiting to happen to bump into you, Oliver, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think to me it kind of seems that like Felix, you know, Felix has the catch. Like Felix brings in like the mouse into the farmhouse and the best for all the cats to play with. But he is at the zenith of control, and so you can only play with my toy when I don't want my toy. But so I feel like it's very much like that. And then so Oliver is happy to continue this metaphor, play with Venisha, but then when he realises that Felix doesn't actually like that, like you're all mine, then he's like, oh no, I just didn't want to embarrass her, like I don't want anything to do with her, when he more than did.
He definitely did. There's a very graphic sexual encounter between them.
I wouldn't call it that at all, because it's all off screen. That's the thing, and I think Emerald Fennell does that so wonderfully well, because it's
continuing the theme of the film.
Yeah, very much so. You're looking at their faces, you're not seeing what's going on. Yeah. And that's she says it. She's like, your dirty little minds are filling in the gaps here. Yeah. You don't see anything.
Yeah, and that's just a lot of it's like unspoken or unseen, but you feel the emotion of it nonetheless.
Oh, so much so, like, again, between both Oliver and Venisha, like the performances are so fantastic. It's all in their faces. That's the thing as well. It's like
totally believe them.
Yeah, and it's shot. This particular scene that we're alluding to, where they have like a sexual encounter, it's at night time and it's just lit so beautifully because they're just meant to be. She was just out watching the moon.
Yeah, she's hanging about
in front of his window.
Yeah, hanging about under his window, waiting to get his attention.
Yeah.
But then, as my sister says, Felix indicates he doesn't like it. I think he says it's bad form.
Yeah.
And then Barry Keoghan, she's under his window the next night and he doesn't go out because he wants to please Felix.
Yep.
But I thought, but also, Venisha also gives Sienna Miller in 2000 fag.
Yeah.
Super, like, beautiful, super posh, chip nail polish, but blonde.
Yeah, she's cool. Aphrodite and the one with Jude Law and Sienna Miller. It's the remake of the Michael Caine. Alfie!
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because if you're not familiar, Alfie describes Sienna Miller's character in that movie, I don't remember, in the statue of Aphrodite, where from the front she's unbelievably perfect and you turn around the side and all you see is the cracks. That's Venisha.
Yeah, so that's Venisha. She's this cool, again, very bourgeois, aloof, like super cool character. There's never a fag out of her hand. Yeah. And she has like a mystique and an allure about her.
And she's gorgeous.
Yeah, and I think she's also probably taller than Barry Keoghan, or almost. She looked quite tall and he was quite small. I don't know. But anyway, again, kind of this flawless character, but then you see deeply flawed.
Yeah, deeply hurt, I would say.
Yeah, deeply hurt, but also attempting to use Oliver as a plaything.
Yeah.
I think I like Keoghan more than last year's one.
We move on to Rosamund Pike.
Yeah.
You go first. Rosamund Pike plays Felix's mother. What's her name?
I honestly can't remember.
This is lovely, mate. Elspeth Catton.
Elspeth, I mean, Rosamund Pike, I think she does like that particular role very well, of like the like just the posh white woman.
Yeah, well-off mother.
Yeah, very much like that. She's just so good at it, but she's so funny throughout. Like the writing for her character is unbelievably hilarious.
Really dry.
But when everyone's like sunning in the garden, and she's talking about she used to party with some band, and they're like, "Oh, everyone said that song was written about me. It's so embarrassing." But
she came from Greece. She had a thirst for knowledge. And that's right.
Yeah, she's like, I never had a thirst for anything. I mean, I think the writing throughout is unbelievably perfect, but I think she has quite a few great like throwaway lines, or which seemed throwaway, but then they were like deeply witty.
Yeah.
Complete and utter horror of ugliness ever since I was very young. I don't know why.
Because you're a terrible person.
I can't stand ugliness.
Yeah, like that kind of thing.
Really, really funny. And her thing is that she toys with Oliver and that she kind of fake mothers him and really indulges him and wants to hear about what he likes and stuff like that. But again, you can tell they don't really care. It's a passing amusement and there'll be somebody else next year.
Yeah, but I thought, so at one point, I don't know if they're all meeting out in the garden at a different point for like food or something, and it's her and Oliver alone together. And I felt like that was the first time you've seen like Oliver being the manipulator. Because there's, who we haven't mentioned yet, Poor Dear Pamela, and Poor Dear Pamela was like their last plaything of amusement with all these like incredible stories of Russian oligarchs and things of that
played
example.
by Carey Mulligan,
who is exceptional in my opinion, and in Emerald Fennell she says she thinks she's the best actor out there.
Really?
Yeah, she was like, I'm not in like a inflated way, like I truly believe that. And I was like, that's such a compliment. And so Pamela's now no longer in the house and Oliver is talking to Elspeth about her, and then Oliver goes, well, if all our stories are real. And it's the first time you see Oliver outwardly say something negative about someone in a, I'm trying to cut off the excess fat and I'm wanting to be the only leech of this situation.
Yeah, it's the first time you really see him speak bad about anyone.
Yeah.
Before that, he's just kind of eager to please and be polite. Yeah. He also calls her sexy. First time he came in, I'm a bit seedy.
Yeah, and also because I thought, oh, that's your angle, you're going to get in with her.
Yeah. Which it kind of is. Yeah,
but I didn't realise how long that was going to play out for. I thought that was going to happen kind of like then. That plays out way at the end. But by that point, I had forgotten what had happened.
Yeah, but I thought like her performance was absolutely flawless. I wonder if it was her, listen, spoiler alert, Felix dies, Oliver poisons him, okay? See when she screams when Felix is dead, that chilled me to my marrow. It gave me like goosebumps in the back of my neck in a really horrible way, and I was like, I wonder if it was her that done that scream. That was an incredible scream.
Oh really?
Yeah, I wonder who it was, because she was off camera at the time.
Yeah,
so they just get somebody that was good at screaming. I don't know. But
I'm now interested to like rehear it and see what I think.
Honestly, it just gave me chills. I was like, oh, I hate that. Really powerful. If it was her, really well done.
Yeah, well done to whoever it was.
Yeah, but yeah, I thought Rosamund Pike was absolutely perfect. Like, tailor-made for that character. Like, just the performance couldn't have been any better. All the little nuances, micro expressions, the way that, again, to convey emotion without really saying much, and also the deadpan one-liners.
Yeah, she's hilarious.
So
she's
funny.
so funny. Her delivery was perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
And I don't think I've seen her play, I'm pretty sure I haven't seen her play anything but like a straight character. Like, I don't think I've seen her play anything that's like, I mean, obviously in Gone Girl, but it's not funny like that. I love Gone Girl. It's a movie that I rewatch often.
I just think you can tell it was a book and it's cheesily done and shit.
That's funny. I really like it. But yeah, like, it's not funny. It's like dark, but it's not funny. She's very funny in this. Yeah. And I don't think I've seen her do that before, but I thought she'd done it like perfectly.
We move on to Carey Mulligan's character now, which is definitely more of a supporting part than any of the rest of them, because she's only in it for a very short period of time.
Yeah, I mean, she only has a couple of scenes.
Yeah, she is playing Elspeth's guest who has overstayed her welcome at Saltburn, and they are pretty, in their own very polite way, they're pretty dead set on getting her out of the house. Yeah,
because at that point, again, they've been so polite around breakfast, it might be, not that it matters, but around the meal, and she's like, oh, like, I might have like at the end of a flat to go to, but like, oh, I don't need to leave, and they're all like, oh no, that sounds so lovely, like, very...
You definitely should, like, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, like, oh my god, there's nothing better in the world. Saltburn, shithole, flat, amazing.
Yeah, bedsit, yeah,
like, off you go.
I loved living in one room, it's so freeing. Yeah.
But in that play we have not like, do you know what, yeah, we really like want our mansion back to ourselves, we would like you to leave, but instead really politely like shoving her out the door.
Oh no, I think I might have found somewhere.
Oh, well done.
But I thought Carey Mulligan played that kind of wounded, tragic character really, really well. You instantly seen, right, okay, this woman, whilst being hyper fashionable and well off, it clearly has a lot going on, and I think that was conveyed through the sad eyes very, very well.
Yeah, I think so, and I loved her costumes. They were really theatrical.
Yeah, really over the top.
They were really great.
So good.
It just like, it told you so much about her character without...
Yeah, without having to really tell you too much about her character. Yeah.
And then I also thought it was good, like the juxtaposition of that as well, because again, the rest of them are very like laissez-faire in their dress a lot of the time, and it's like Felix, for quite a lot of the movies, or it feels like a lot of the movies were in that like lemon linen shirt, and it's so like, oh, I'm so rich, we'll just throw on whatever, and it's like probably like moth-eaten and stuff, but she's there in like almost like a...
She's at a high fashion event.
Yeah, it really reminded me when Galliano done the Alice in Wonderland shoot with Natalia Vodianova. It's
very, very like that, yeah.
Like it's really, like she's really thought about what she's wearing to dinner, she's really done her makeup kind of thing. So little time on screen, but she's done it really well, and there was so much to that character even though there was so little time on screen.
And I'm glad they still got like a really strong actor to do that.
Yeah,
then it
for
didn't
sure.
like chip away at the veneer of the film at all, like the whole aesthetic. It was really in keeping with everything, like the tone and the artistry and like the acting of the film. Like it didn't, there wasn't a weak link, even though it was just a passing character.
No, 100%. I would say that's really true of everyone. Like everyone was really strong in what they done.
Oh, I agree. Sir James, next, played by Richard E. Grant, who is Felix's father and the head of the household. He's an aristocrat, basically.
Again, completely believe him, and again, he's not on screen much, but that when they're having, I think they call it, like they refer to it as like the mince pie dinner or lunch after Felix is dead, and they're sitting at the lunch and he's telling like again, I don't know like what that guy's, the staff
butler.
guy, the butler can't close the curtain, and it's the first time like Richard E. Grant really shows any emotion, because the full time he's been, I'm posh, everything is under the surface, I'm just kind of like playful, and it's all life is a lark. And then even when his son's dead, he's like trying to keep his composure, and then he flips out, and I thought he'd done it all like just again perfect level at every possible moment.
Yeah, I loved it. There's also a bit where they have a birthday party for Oliver and talking about it at the dinner table, you know, how they should do it and stuff like that, and they're like, should we dress up? And he's like, I can wear my suit of armour, and then it cuts to the party and he is in like a full medieval suit of armour, and I just thought that was so funny. I thought it was absolutely hilarious, and he plays that so well. Like it was really, really perfectly executed. Again, kind of like eccentric aristocrat, you know, very, very polite, doesn't really convey any emotion, but there's still a lot going on, and really I thought it was absolutely hilarious. Really, really good.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And just on the party when everyone's so, also at that table it's like, oh, will it be 100 people? I mean, like 100 turns into 2, doesn't it?
So that's so funny. That's
200 people,
funny,
and they're like, Oliver, you can bring whoever you want. It's like, Oliver has no one to bring. But then when it gets to the party and everyone stops to sing him happy birthday, and they're so like, with all the gusto in the world singing happy birthday, and then it gets to his name and like no one knows what it is.
Yeah, that's horrendous.
Oh, it's so painful.
You think they would have informed people?
Yeah, or I think even they probably did, and they just didn't care, because they want to go to a party at Saltburn, but they don't care what it's in aid of.
Yeah, and the tunes at the party are class. They're like so of that time, like Tom Craft Loneliness and stuff like that, and like Cedar.
Yeah, and it
so
looks good, because I think a lot of the time as well in party scenes and things, it's very clear that the music that people have been given to dance to is not the music that is ultimately played over the scene.
Yeah, like a club scene made in Chelsea.
Oh my gosh, like nothing more painful. Absolutely nothing more painful.
Trying to make it look bad. You're not in a nightclub. You're not in a nightclub.
I know. Yeah, and it's sparse.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
This wasn't. I don't know how many extras they got on scene that day,
horrendous.
but it was very immersive. It was very good. It was very well done. Like nothing takes you out of the moment.
It seemed like a party.
Yeah, it very much did. Just to jump off that, but yeah, I thought Richard E. Grant done like a great job.
Yeah, very, very well. And I think lastly, the butler.
Yeah, chilling. Chilling.
Get his name.
And again, like he is such a presence in the movie.
Yeah, Paul Rees playing Duncan.
Yeah, Duncan.
And he.
I like when Felix at the beginning is like, Duncan.
Stop being so scary. Yeah. Stop scaring our guests.
Yeah.
Duncan, stop being so frightening in front of my friends. Well, I'll try. Come on.
What Fennell said, he is like a perfect metaphor for Saltburn, because he's really emblematic of it. You know, it looks like it's been there for 1,000,000 years. It's of a certain class. It has disdain for other classes.
Yep.
It's opulent, but it's threatening. I thought that guy played it well, and again, he really didn't have much to say, but you really felt all his emotions and all the little, like, just kind of dry words and again, micro expressions and stuff like that. You totally felt his disdain for Oliver.
Yeah, 100%.
You felt like he hated Oliver.
Micro expressions, but predominantly microaggressions.
Yeah, because he really felt Oliver didn't deserve to be there.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, he wasn't a lot of time on screen, but his presence was felt throughout, and whenever he's there, you're immediately...
Yeah, you're terrified.
Yeah, and I feel like if the movie was in a different genre of just horror, it would be like Saltburn exists and he is as old as Saltburn, and families come and go, but he has always been there, he is omnipresent. He has that air to him.
Yeah, I agree.
The ending...
Oh yeah, we need to discuss that. Will we do that before ratings?
Yeah.
The end scene, again, huge spoiler alert. All the family are dead, and Oliver, over a period of years, has come to acquire Saltburn. We just see a big room. Sophie Ellis Bextor murder on the dance floor starts. And then Oliver is naked, dancing through the house, flexing his muscles in the mirror, and it is fucking perfect. It might be my favourite scene in the film.
It's so incredible.
I've been listening to that song non-stop since
I've started playing it since, because you posted it, and I was like, oh my god, this is so good. This is actually so good.
And that's all I can think about. That's all I can think about. I was actually going to recreate it yesterday and send it to Ava, but she was with her friend, and I didn't want, just in case she saw that.
You should just do it, film yourself like half up and
waist
then
up, But honestly, the humour of that film, for what is such a dark character at the end, is such a perfect end to that film, and it's so congruent with the rest of the theme. It's fun, it's light, it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, but it's fucking deadly. Honestly,
and also,
I was so joyful through it, like I had an ear to the smell of it, and like, this is fucking amazing.
No, it's so perfect, and the thing is as well, so it's done in a oneer as well, and obviously like
they just follow him through.
But they go through the exact same rooms that Felix toured him in the beginning of the movie.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's really interesting.
Which I think is interesting, because it's like, so Felix was kind of, you know, the man of the manor before, as much as he was the son, it's all Felix, and now he is the man of the manor. But it's the exact same rooms.
Which left the question for me, and I said this to my sister, that Barry Keoghan's character Oliver is attracted to shiny things, and I just thought it was a bit weird because all the family are gone. They're a big part of what makes Saltburn a shiny thing. Now it's just a house, and I get that now, you know, Oliver is the shiny thing because he owns the house. And
I
also,
think that's it.
I do get that, and I get that if they were going to reject him, then he would rather they die and he just took the house. So that's the best of a bad deal if they're not going to welcome him in as a permanent fixture. So I do get it. But just absolutely incredible. That end scene was too good. I cannot wait to watch it again.
Yeah, I think that was the thing for me as well. Like when he's doing the dancing and he looks at the mirror, I audibly laughed. It was so funny to me. It was so perfect, and it was so, for me, Patrick Bateman in American Psycho, when he's having the sex scene, but he's looking at himself and flexing in the mirror.
I mean, he's went and collected all their stones out the river.
I mean, it couldn't be darker. It couldn't be more sinister. It's perfect.
It's
absolutely perfect.
Amazing.
And I would have never have thought like the Oliver that you're introduced to at the beginning of the movie would be the Oliver by the end of the movie. But when you're watching it,
character arc,
it makes such sense. No, actually, speaking of character arcs, I was listening to Barry Keoghan talk about the movie, and he had like kind of like journals, like chapter 1 or section 1 of Oliver, so that when they were filming on different days, he could go back to that section and be like, this is like the level of intensity that I need to bring for this version of Oliver at the beginning of the movie, or this was Oliver mid-movie, to make sure that that arc was really seamless. And I think like the character work that he had done is so important and had the most amazing outcome, because you really feel that arc of the character. It never feels like it's taking leaps. Everything is, as much as he is so stark different beginning to end, it's so seamless how he got there.
Amazing. We're going to rate the film out of 10 now, and as we did previously, we're going to rate it on plot, production value and performances. So number 1, plot.
I mean, to be fair, I can just give you one and all. It's 10 out of 10 for all of it for me.
I agree. I agree. And we'll dissect that quickly here, but plot, I mean, totally original. Haven't seen anything like it before. Nothing like it before.
That's the thing, and everyone, like, performances on that, like, everyone was so unbelievably believable. And their roles.
No weak links.
Not
Zero
at all.
weak links.
No one takes you out of the moment at any point. That's something that like makes or breaks the scene for me. I hate when I'm taken out of a movie. Like, I've already made the leap of faith that I'm watching the movie, and if you're world building, I'm now here, but then if you jump me out of it in any way.
But then Mark Wahlberg says something, and I'm like, this is a film, he's a bad actor.
The Departed, and is it Jack Nicholson or Alec Baldwin, I can't remember, one of them screams, it's not a movie, and it's like, but it is, and you just take me out of the moment. That's obviously a great movie, and there's lots of great performances in that, but moments like that I find really jarring, and I don't like to be removed from the moment.
None of that in this.
Not at all.
I was like hypnotised the full time. I honestly, like, I'd never ever, I can't remember the last time a film had me on the edge of my seat for the entire film. I wasn't bored once. You know what I mean? Like, it was impeccable, it was incredible.
Yeah, completely.
And as you just said there, like, performances 10 out of 10, and then production value, it was stunning. Like, whatever they filmed it on, every single set was perfection. It was like vibrant, it drew you in, it was beautiful, it was aesthetic, but it was also kind of ugly even.
It's dark, but it's sumptuous. It's all the juxtapositions of things that, again, it becomes greater than the sum of its parts. But I think that was the thing, she said she wanted to make it like gothic, and I think she does that really well. It's opulent but gothic.
Yeah, she said like David Bowie's character in Labyrinth, where like, he's the bad guy but you're supposed to kind of fancy him. there's like cognitive dissonance. That's what this film's like. Even like with the opening credits and stuff, it's like beautiful and it's really like luxurious. I think that's the wrong one. It's beautiful and it's really, again,
it's luxurious to be fair.
It's like, you know, it's just grandiose, but it's also like, but it still kind of makes me feel a bit like icky. Like, I don't know, is it scary? Is it gothic? Like, to have so many conflicting emotions being true, like two things being true at the same time, to have so many things happening simultaneously, it was crazy. It was like a drug, that film, really, honestly. It stimulated so many emotions and I can't stop thinking about it.
No, it's so good. It is one of those movies, again, it's like, okay, say it isn't up your street, or you're someone that would be somewhat alienated by the more like the few very minimal sex scenes that are in it, or sexual scenes that are in it. Park that to one side and watch the movie.
It's a piece of art, makes you feel stuff.
100%. It's that, it makes you feel something, and I don't think enough movies can do that.
Oh, really not now, when they're rattled out 10 a penny and there's so much dog shit out there, so there is.
There is, and there's so much like surface or that, you've just seen it 1,000 times. You've, not only is this an original idea, but you're seeing people doing original performances and exceptionally well. It is one of those movies like, you should just watch it because you should see it because it's special.
I agree. So guys, that's our Saltburn review. Obviously we loved it. Did you? Please let us know and please tune in next time. Thank you so much.